HGC, we are halfway into July of 1997. We are on a 4-week win streak versus SWF. We have a pre-show match here. Richard Blood defeating Jimmy Power. Richard Blood, just a white meat babyface, who's paired with Rico Santana, another white meat babyface. It's like a Rico Santana and Ricky Steamboat tag team that are like kind of solo guys. Like, they're just paired together, and he just defeats Jimmy Power to get a win in pre-show. Um, but we do start off the show with a continuation of the international title stuff, where Cowboy and Liberty are kind of having a promo, but Eric Tyler interrupts them, says he's already beat them both. Neither of them deserve a title shot. But you know what? Maybe they can face two of his guys from Untouchables tonight in our main event. Just kind of like a standard Raw opening here. I'm gonna change my mic. Pretty standard stuff with starting the show off with a little promo. We follow that up with our cruiserweight blow off of Dark Eagle defeating Alex Braun to make defense number 4 our most active title, partially because Charlie Homicide's injury. And it's just going to be the way the cruiserweight title will roll. And during the match, we would have Jack Bruce ringside. If you remember last week, he mentioned how he has like possible his eyes on the cruiserweight title. We follow that up with Travis Henry and BLZ bragging about beating up Sam Strong. We're going to actually give Sam Strong time off to avoid any backstage dilemma and drama as a way to solve the injury and beatdown from BLZ last week. We follow that up with a continuation of sorts of the Monty Walker, Jesse Christian All-Star team feud, where Monty Walker defeats Danny Rushmore in a basic match. Post-match, he is attacked by Grunt and Stink. Jesse Christian makes the save. If you remember, Monty Walker saved Jesse Christian a couple weeks ago. So now Jesse Christian returns the favor, even though Monty Walker last week told him, hey, it wasn't about saving you. It was about sending a message to Charlie Homicide. So kind of continuing that thread a little bit of the storyline. And there's more to come with this angle tonight. We follow that up with Troy Tornado, who recently turned 20 in the game. He sarcastically invites Romeo Heartthrob to his birthday party. I feel like it's just again, immature, young, funny baby face. I would say Troy comes up to Romeo and just like, hey, having a birthday party tonight. You're more than welcome to come by. Just like kind of like a little fun angle there. Speaking of fun little angle, Damien Carville walks out to the ring and reveals that he will be a special guest commentator for Jeb Langley's match versus Cobra, which Jeb Langley defeats Cobra with the Daddy's Home. I wonder what that move would be. Tell me what you think the Daddy's Home would be. Jeb Langley is just a guy who's consistently gaining popularity. When he's getting a match versus a guy more popular than him, he's going up by 5. Where Cowboy, Brent, Frankie Future, a lot of these guys are just not gaining that popularity. Jeb Langley is gaining it easily. So I don't know how that's going to change my plans. Post-match, we have Coach Dick and RP Jr. tell Jesse Christian they're impressed with his performance last week. They do tell him to ditch that loser Monty Walker, and he doesn't know that loser anything. Just kind of a way to set the stage of Monty Walker as being like the outsider character, the Heath Ledger from like 10 Things I Hate About You kind of guy. And Jesse Christian is like the all-star quarterback type, like, you know what I mean? It's not a love story, I promise, but that's the tag team kind of story we're going with of like it's the opposites attract in tag team. So so I don't know if I've put it that way yet, but I definitely think that's the way we're going with it. So we have the two jocks kind of pull the other jock in and say, stay away from that loser creep. Now, post that angle, we have Troy Tornado kind of revealing, oh, Romeo, I thought you were already here. And he points like Landmass, who's just like a slow paced. He's like a fat slob monster. He's like 6'7", 300 something pounds. Just a fun way to mix up for Troy Tornado to kind of tease Romeo for being bald and ugly now, to confuse him with a quote unquote fat slob and Landmass. I mean, that's his name. And this is going to be Troy Tornado eventually facing Landmass to get a little popularity rub there. To continue his feud with Romeo. But yeah, I mean, basic little mid-card stuff. Coach Dick declines the challenge from the Vessies, or from the Blazing Flames to the Vessies. This is to continue the tag team storyline, and it's going to go a different route here, as you'll see a little bit later. And as you've seen so far, we had like 16 angles on the show in like 5 matches. So very angle heavy tonight. 55% of the show was angles. Tommy Cornell wins his debut match, defeating Electrico. Pretty basic, quick match, 5 minutes, 50 seconds. Give him a win, and it sets up um, Frankie Future trying to jump Ripcord, but he gets beat down by the rest of the syndicate with Sam Strong not around. Frankie doesn't have any really allies to pair with him right now to face the syndicate, but yep, he gets beat down from the syndicate, so we're continuing to put heat on. Then from there, Tommy Cornell and Barry Bone, I use character ideas to get them the hot and momentum, but there's that. Now backstage, we go to RP Jr. is found unconscious by the Vessies and Coach Dick. This is to set like a storyline thread for the Monty Walker storyline, the Charlie Homicide potential, the Demons of Rage, and the Blazing Flames. Like, who attacked RP Jr.? Who's going after All Star Team? Was it even the Syndicate? So there'll be a storyline thread over the next coming weeks of who sneak attacked and who beat down RP Jr. But yeah, that was a good way to kind of continue those feuds and be a storyline thread week to week. Then after that, we had Dusty Streets and Sid Streets cutting a promo on each other and their sibling rivalry that never led to a match, never really settled, and just kind of continuing that hostility between the two ahead of our main event of Cowboy and Ricky, or Cowboy and Liberty defeating tag team specialists with Cowboy Ricky Dale picking up the win here, as I felt like he needed the credibility a little bit more than Liberty. And a solid match. I was hoping a little bit better, but can't complain. All right, I had to pause it for a sec, but we should have mid 70 show, high 70 show. Very happy with that, thanks to our angle there, the pre-main event. But yeah, a lot of angles, and like I said, 4 weeks in a row we beat SWF. Do we continue that trend tonight? I hope so. We're 4 away from getting the ace, so we should beat there. And again, end of the year is when I'll do it. I mean, I don't know. I don't see why not. But yeah, 4 weeks in a row. I actually went through, did a little bit in-depth breakdown of everything, so we'll cover that after we review SWF. So we're at 77. So they beat us. Okay, Sean McFly, Mr. Supreme versus. Okay, yeah, we're gonna lose that, and we would have lost that if Christian Faith versus Adonis in a cage match. So they're pulling out all the stops to beat us. Some other SWF news. They signed what's his name, Freddie Datsun and Elijah Black, as they lost a couple pieces and quit signing a couple pieces. Never really had plans with Elijah Black. Pretty good performance skills, but his in-ring skills left a lot to be desired. I don't really know much about his storyline. No prisoner's attitude. Okay, he's part of the tag team. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that. There's a Kurt Laramie. Again, there's a lot of other guys that are a little more established. And then Freddie is another guy from Dave. Maybe would have signed eventually. American Everyman kind of fits the opposite for Damian Carville. But yeah, I mean, very good selling. Probably good charisma, good psychology. He's probably going to be a big deal in SWF. Amazing babyface. But, so we lose this week. I just got to go. Well, let's see if there's any popularities that I need to check. We'll check Jeb Langley, and then we'll go over the thing. So Jeb Langley should be 40-ish. So yeah, he went up 39. So each time with a win there, +5, +5, +5 across the board. So while we're here, so special note, we are now 6 wins versus SWF's 22. Now I did a little bit of in-depth breakdown because if you remember in April of the save, so about 3 months ago, Sam Keith was fired due to like a scandal. So before Sam Keith was fired, they had an 80.4 average. They're 15-0 versus us. Now I'm not including this week. Since then, they have been 6-6 versus HGC and a 75.8 average. So they'll probably go up. Now the 6 shows we beat them, the first one was the Total Mayhem Go Home show, and the second one was the Total Mayhem Post show, headlined by Eric Tyler there, who is our probably second best overall performer right now, besides Ripcord. Sam Strong, of course, with popularity, but I'm just talking overall. I feel like Eric Tyler, I could bet to have well, I don't know. Sam Strong's popularity can't be doubted. But yeah, so, and then the previous 4 weeks, which, I don't really need to cover that. We just went over it. But yeah, 622, way better than I thought. Jeb Langley, slowly but steadily getting over in a way I didn't expect. Might have to capitalize on that in a way more so than I originally thought. So to be honest, in the next 2 years of this game, from my plans, there's a babyface I need a babyface champion. So I feel like the obvious contenders are Dustin Sid Streets, either the Vessies, if something connects, RP Jr., Cowboy Ricky Dale, Liberty, of course. Maybe like a BLZ Bub face turn. It doesn't make sense. And then it can't be Sam Strong Ripcord. Frankie Future could be another one. I don't think Eric Tyler would be a good babyface champion. Um, we did talk him out of being a drinker though, so hopefully that leads to a little bit of longevity. Same with Damien Carville. Don't see him as a babyface champion. Maybe Brent Hill gets over in a way with the Ripcord ally thing, but he doesn't really have the performance skills. But that could be fine. Be like I was gonna say Brian Danielson babyface, but Brian Danielson's pretty damn good in the mic. But yeah, so we got like a babyface champion that I need to build up. I feel like the obvious contenders right now are Jeb, Cowboy, Liberty. Um, which is crazy that Jeb is getting over the way he has. Just like he's been not even necessarily he's been protected. Like he's lost a couple matches. He lost to Brent, lost to Battle Royal, lost to Charlie, lost to Charlie and Romeo. So he's been sort of protected, I guess, as much as like everybody else. Cowboy has been just as protected though. He's only lost to Eric, the same Battle Royal, and Ripcord. The only one that's really like 6 hours Flapjack beat him pretty early on, but that was when Flapjack was still like a upper card guy. But yeah, that's where we'll cut the show there. A little bit in depth with the special notes, but thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you next time.